So, ladies and gentlemen, we were talking about hungry people, better results and the leaders covered in it. The 25 leaders, when I looked at them, my vision when I started this book was to impact on different leadership traits. So, keeping that in mind, I choose different leaders from different fields, some businessmen, some sportsmen, some people who are into social work, some who are great social media influencers, because if you look at a people leader in the current world with one click generations, he has to be more than just one or two one or two traits, master of the traits. He should be an all-rounder. To get that, I went to these 25 leaders and selected them in a very different manner. So, let us look at them. Interestingly, the first leader which is covered is Kiran Majumdar Shah. We all know her as a chairperson and a managing director of Bicon. We also know that she is a Padma Shri and Padma Bhushan and a well known figure. Second business leader which I covered was Harshvardhan Goenka. So, for him to win continually, hard work never goes out of fashion. Chairman of RPG Enterprise. If you look at my third leader, it was very different. He is again a Padma Shri and very well known, Mr. Bishan Singh Bedi. I did not cover him, for just his controversial or open statement. I covered him because his thoughts were very different. Then I covered a lady, an interesting lady who is again a Padma Shri, Miss Arunima Sinha. She was, if you remember, ladies and gentlemen, she was thrown out of a running train and then uniquely, she has fell down in life and come up in life, and now she is a Padma Shri and a conqueror of Mount Everest. When I was looking at, social media, I thought I should have some international leader covered. So, I covered Tim Fargo, who is the president and CEO of Social Jukebox, an interesting person, a very, very different sort of a leader. When I was looking at, next I was looking for my chapter of diversity, because in the one click generation, a lot of things are diverse and we have to be, as people leaders, capable of handling different people, different situations in different extreme atmosphere. So, I looked at Nirmala Menon, and fortunately I got her, and she is one of the top 50 diversity experts based out of India. The next gentleman is no more with us, and I am extremely disappointed at he being not here with us anymore. His name is Rahul Yadav, founder of a UNESCO recognized Yodha, a true Yodha in it himself. He was 29 years when he has just passed away fighting for cancer. I always say that when going gets tough, tough gets going. The next leader which I wanted to cover was interesting and very, very different from the selection previously of the few leaders I have talked about. Dr. Mala or Malati Krishna Hola, as the world knows her. The world knows her for being the fastest woman on a wheelchair. Do you know, Dr. Mala has won more than 400 medals, 386 gold medal for our country. Ladies and gentlemen, we all, check into Facebook, we use apps of Facebook, and wherever we go, sometimes we go to a movie, sometimes we go to a cinema hall, sometimes we go to a show, sometimes we are traveling, we say we are live at Kolkata International Airport and we are going to Pune. Do you know who built these apps? Is it Mark Zuckerberg? No, that is not the truth. There is an Indian gentleman who is called Neeraj Jhanji, who has sold around 13 apps to Mark Zuckerberg. He is covered in the book on the chapter called Social Media Influence, because I think there is nothing more than that which is required, and a person like him will be able to guide you through that chapter more than I could. Interestingly, next influencer was a family. I covered Shastri family. For long term vision they had in 1919 when they built a all women university in extreme conditions, in extreme position in a interior city of Rajasthan. Then we covered Padma Shri and Mr. Harsh Neotia, because he believed that leadership is an everyday business. You don't win it in a day. I wanted to cover somebody from media, and Anurag Batra was the only choice I had, chairman of Business World. I worked with him closely once upon a time, but he's an interesting guy, a very, very different Twitter handle and a very different thing. Anand Sundarshan was the next leader whom I covered, founder and director of Sylvant Advisors. You will be also remembering him being a CEO of one of the best institutes or institutions, a group of institutions called Manipal Global Institute. An interesting gentleman again, a very, very different guy, very, very different background. PC Mustafa, co-founder of ID Foods as we know him. Do you know his inspirational story is that he is a porter, a kuli ka beta, to a founder of a ID Food. Next, an interesting gentleman again, a business leader, Dinesh Sahara, founder and managing director of Richie Soya Industries, well known for its oil and other things which they manufacture. Then I wanted to look at somebody who has moved from an HR, being an HR professional myself, to a CEO role. Dr. Santrup Mishra was the next choice, an obvious choice, because he is the only one person who has changed Aditya Birla upside down. Madan Padaki was the next leader whom I covered, and he felt that leadership is all about impact, a serial entrepreneur. I think that was interesting. I found the next leader very different from again the people whom I have interviewed, and based on her circumstances she was different. The lady is called as Preeti Srinivasan, founder of Soul Free, the NGO. Interestingly, if I have to take you through her story in a minute, she was the cricket captain of India under-21 team, a volleyball player at a national level, when she struck with an accident, and she is today 90% paralytic. Only thing which moves is her face, and covering her emotions and how she fought from that stage to today is Bounce Forward, ladies and gentlemen. And that's how I covered my co-founders of NSHM, who believe that Bounce Forward is important and we shouldn't bounce back, but that's the key. I covered an interesting gentleman whom I equate with Varghese Kurian. His name is Nand Kishore Chaudhary, a serial entrepreneur from Rajasthan, Jaipur, founder of Jaipur Rugs, who has put more than 4,000 plus rug workers together to form a movement. I consider him as a social entrepreneur and a contributor in real life what we are looking at. Ladies and gentlemen, the next one is all on your tips today. Ravi Shastri, the man who leads, or the man who is the head coach of Indian cricket team. I don't have to explain you about him, the tracer bullet and the champions of champion. I think the last one is my mentor, and somehow related very closely to me, because he believes that game could change in a matter of second in life, and it is today very, very evident with one clicks. I have covered Dr. Adil Malia. I also would like to thank him to make those doodles for my book, around 28 of them, and which makes the books very interesting. I have a last message for you. Take your accomplishments lightly and your commitments seriously. as we look at, winning continually through these leaders. In hungry people, better results.